Hey, what is up there, guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of forgot my whatever my name is. Welcome back to a brand new episode of The Evolve. How you guys doing on today? You know what? I'm doing all right. But today I want to talk about, I'm not so much joking. I just want to be real with you all. Talk a little bit about something that's been on my mind, and that's with regards to Royce the 5'9". Now, as we know by now, Royce, he had blocked me publicly because he feels that I am part of a smear campaign against him. And because, I reacted to Grizzy's song and his diss track on him. So that led Royce to publicly block me on his Twitter and announce it to everyone. So that was pretty funny. I found it funny at the time, and it still is. I found it funny. I found it strange, but mainly, I'm all about pettiness. I thought pettiness was an art, and me personally, when I seen it, I laughed, and I just said, all right, well, let's do this. But that's not what I want to talk about on today. I want to talk about as it relates to, because as we know, Nick Cannon and Large Jamar and a few other folks, they have been coming out and stating that, hey, you know what, we cool. We want to meet up with him. We cool now. It's all right. And, I've been seeing so much that Royce the 5'9", he's in the middle. He's talking about, how Eminem is feeling and what Eminem thinks, or Eminem is going to be happy to hear that, or Eminem wants to work it out, and Eminem says that you're cool or whatnot. And, don't get me wrong before I say what I'm about to say, because you may agree, but these are my little rants. The channel is called The Evolve for a reason, but or you may not agree. But the thing is that I've been a fan of Royce for a very long time. I mean, ever since the Bad Meets Evil, and I've been cheering for his career. I mean, what he brings, what I think he brings to the table is something that is rare today. I mean, he's one of the ones that is still yet that gatekeeper of lyricists and just this cadence that of this old school vibe. I mean, he is still holding true to that. I mean, he is one of the few that still feels that, man, being lyrical and taking the time to write and put these words and metaphors and different things together, that is still needed. Like I said, he is one of the gatekeepers of that form of rap and that form of art. And his skill and his talent and his ability is commendable. So, like I said, I've been a fan of cheering this guy's career. But where I'm falling into the problem with now is, there's two main things. He is not just being the gatekeeper, of his own career, but he spends so much time as this spokesperson, as this secretary, as this counselor, as, for Eminem. I mean, I've gotten to the point now, hear me out. I've gotten to the point where I don't want to hear, Royce tell me that, that the beef is settled. I don't want to hear that he says to Nick Cannon, okay, Eminem says cool. Honestly, those beefs and those things with Large Jamar and Nick Cannon or whoever it is, it's not settled until I hear from Eminem. I know that Royce is a friend, and many at times sees him as a foe here now lately, but he is a friend of Eminem. I mean, now, rather it's for his own selfish motives or it's genuine. I mean, that's to be decided amongst himself. Now, some people will take that statement and say, oh no, he is a friend. He's been there for Eminem. But honestly, at the end of the day, we are not in these rappers' homes. We're not on their phone. We know from what we see. We know from what they make public, rather it's on Instagram, rather it's on Twitter, rather it's on YouTube or anything or something like that. But personally, we don't know these people's motives, and only thing we can do is judge by a history. And sometimes history, it is manipulated and it lies too. But that side's the point. Like I said, I'm not here to judge. He's always shown to be a friend of Eminem, but still, I don't find that these beefs are done and over and down and cleared up and cool until I hear from him. I've gotten to the point where, Royce, when you were on Large Lamar's podcast and you told Vlad, you looked into the camera and said, you don't get to tell us in black hip hop, you don't get to do that, Vlad. Well, I'm coming back and saying the same thing, man. It comes a point where, I think Eminem fans and stans, and not even people of Eminem, but they want to hear from, when it comes to things like that, when it comes to beefs, when it comes to a person that has manipulated, that has demoralized, that has scandalized, that have took you through the dirt and mud for years on top of years on top of years, and when it comes to people that have scandalized your name and called you everything from a white devil to a KKK, that have made accusations and claims, that have constantly made you have to put out diss tracks because you constantly, created a false narrative. When it comes to things like that, we need to know that we need to hear from that person. We need to hear that Eminem, that, hey, he has settled that, because that's a lot of history. And I think it's out of place and out of order for even his best friend or even his friends to say, hey, okay, he's cool and he's done, it's over with. No, and stuff like that, we don't want to hear from you. And it's time out for that. It's time out. Like I said, there needs to be a more focus on your own career. I mean, I can't think of an interview where Royce had sat down and, rather the interview mentioned them, but Eminem, he is constantly being brung up. There's a reason for it, but still, Royce encouraged it. But I'm not even speaking on that. I'm speaking on mainly just the fact that in regards to beef and between Nick Cannon and Large Lamar, I don't want to hear. And I don't settle for it, and I'm not going to until, we hear from him. Now, some are going to say, Evolve, you're being a hypocrite because, you didn't bring that same energy. You didn't bring that same energy when 50 Cent, he came at Nick Cannon, or when 50 Cent, he came at, Large Lamar when he was talking that stuff, and, he even threatened Nick Cannon. Well, that's different. Now, you may ask, why is it different? Well, it's not in regards to settling a beef. It's in regards to Nick Cannon. He spoke that he went through and he was ready to put physical hands. I expect my boys and my homies to come through. If someone said they want to put hands or jump me or they looking for me, yeah, in that case. But in the case of, hey, apologize, there's this dude, don't want to have this beef. It was nothing physical, But Royce, he can be a mediator. He can be a mediator, and he can say, okay, I'm gonna try to talk to him and see if, you guys can get together on a phone or whatnot. He can be that mediator, that person in the gap, kind of keeping it positive and trying to push change in a different direction. That's all right. But the mediator can also be the judge. The mediator is there to mediate, bring the two together. And then once they're together, they judge. You don't get to say, like I said, I'm just to the point where I'm tired of hearing from Royce. And I think a big part of it is because it's kind of hard for people to, accept some of the things that Royce have been saying, because he has been a part that have been allowing the very atmosphere and the environment of our society to reflect his own personal morals and ethics. He has fallen victim to, the anger and the hate, and it has pushed him, And what I mean by that is that we are living in a society more than ever where race and injustice is at the spotlight. And hate and black movements and whatnot, it's at the spotlight. It's at the forefront of everything. It's on everybody's mind, and that stuff. And a lot of people, and you got two types of people that address the injustice, that address the hate and the stuff that goes on. You got the one type that you allow it to change you, and you are manipulated, and you allow your atmosphere to determine just who you are gonna be. You allow everything that's going on to determine the more hate, the more you're going to be against white people, or the more you're going to be against black people. You allow situations to affect you, to manipulate you. You're so easily manipulated by your own environment. And then you got the other people that's like, oh, okay, yes, there needs to be a change, but they stay the same. I heard Royce say, we've got to protect our black women from the white men. Why? Stuff like that. Like I said, and that's just I think that's more something internally. And I think Royce knows it too. Royce, he has been more on, his people and black people and working forward and towards it. But then you got some that can make the argument that it's just hard. It's just hard for us to take, you're on one hand, you are, you're all about your black people, and you're speaking more on this injustice, and you're showing that, you're distancing yourself from certain people. But then on the other hand, you're constantly, oh, you know what? It's done. It's over. It's like it's over. M said it's all good. I'm not saying choose a side, but I'm saying you can't straddle the fence when it's convenient for you. That was my little rant. Like I said, I like to know what you all think. Not many are gonna agree. Not many are gonna disagree. But that's quite all right. Like I said, it is the evolve, and that's just something that I woke up thinking about, as I was writing my Nick Cannon episode on yesterday. I'm like, why is Royce telling, this is something that we want to hear from him. Now, yeah, and you can take this how you want to take it. You can take it that, oh, evolve is coming at him. Yeah. He is, I am a massive fan of Eminem, but, everybody is held accountable. And in things like this, we do need to hear more. We do want to see. We do want to know. We don't even need to know or hear publicly, but to know that, hey, yeah, we had this conversation on the phone. I had a conversation on the phone, but I don't want to hear from friends and family that it's settled, because that stuff that they said was personal. So it personally needs to get settled. And no one needs to be hopping in and trying to be a judge and a mediator, because it sounds good or it feels good, or to cap them own self up. Time's out for all that. I'd like to know what you all think. If you're new to the channel, be sure to Be sure to subscribe. As always, KIP, keep it positive. I will see you guys in the very next video.